What is going on, guys? My name is Dillard, and we're bringing you back a new type of video. We're not doing podcasts, but we're cutting it down and talking about a little bit different things on the podcast with my co-host Jad, who I should probably go ahead and introduce you to. We haven't done a podcast in a while. Usually they'd go about 30 minutes or so, but we're going to try and cut down that. We're not going to talk about as many topics. We're just going to stick to one topic per week, and hopefully these videos get shorter and you guys enjoy the video just as much as you did on the podcast. So obviously the main thing that we're talking about today, obviously the most important thing that has been the question of the universe, is whether or not Anthony Volpe would get promoted and start opening day for the New York Yankees. He's been absolutely raking in spring training. Well, he was raking spring training because spring training is officially over now. Side note, I think I had my fair share of spring training already. I'm ready for opening day. The only thing that really kept me glued to the TV or glued to my monitor was the fact that Volpe exists, Dominguez exists, and a few other players here and there. But outside of that, really, I was just more tuned into Volpe and Dominguez. But yeah, today we're just going to talk about Anthony Volpe. I'm going to let my co-host go ahead and give me some opinions and thoughts on Volpe real fast, and then I'll kind of give a quick breakdown myself, and then we'll just go from there.
All right, so what's going on, everybody? So, I mean, it's pretty clear that this was, like, on everybody's radar for the longest time now. People have been screaming for Volpe for the longest time. And I mean, like, man, like, in the build-up to, like, this moment when I got the news, I think I got it from Jeff Passan at the beginning, and I was just like Jeff Passan's like, oh, another top prospect is starting, and I'm like, who could that be? And I'm like, and then I saw the tweet where he said that it was Volpe, and I'm like, no way. Like, there is no chance this is happening, because, I mean, I said this at the beginning of preseason. I'm like, I believe that there is going to be a legitimate competition, but I feel like the Yankees are going to go out of their way to let Oswald Peraza, not Oswaldo Cabrera, but let Oswald Peraza kind of have a little bit of a head start in terms of Volpe. But like, Volpe absolutely destroyed this competition. I think it's a tremendous honor for the kid. I love it. New Jersey kid from Morristown. If anybody's ever seen a photo of him meeting Derek Jeter when he was a kid, I mean, it's just like, this is Garrett Cole, like, meeting Andy Pettitte and, like, having the sign at the World Series. Like, This is that level of a thing, and I think that this has been tremendously fun to watch, and I'm very excited to see him start opening day. Apparently he's supposed to start 9th. Hopefully he gets his first major league hit out of the way, and I'm really hoping that he hits a home run in front of the home crowd on opening day. I think that'd be tremendously fun.
Anthony Volpe home run off Logan Webb would be incredible, because Logan Webb is a very high touted pitcher in the league and has been for the last 2 years. So yeah, obviously he kind of spoke for everybody there. His numbers in spring, the big number that pops out to me, because I'm a big power guy. I mean, I think contact is important too, but I think power players are more my style of baseball players, which obviously Volpe has the potential to have a lot of pop in his bat. He showed that in spring. He showed that in not only spring training, but also pretty much most of his minor career, if not all of his minor league career, because his career numbers in the minors, 881 OPS. That's pretty dang good. And obviously 262 average, so he can hit for contact, high on base percentage. It's the exact same thing as spring training. High average, good on base percentage, really good, like 415. And then obviously the OPS at 1. So he has pop in his bat. And I actually did some scouting report stuff, so I was kind of interested. I'm not a scout, so maybe there's things that I miss about certain players in their game. And I wrote down some key things that are really interesting. Can't remember the scout's name off the top of my head. This was actually just from MLB's website, so if you want to go check it out, that's where you would go check it out at. Obviously, number 1 prospect since 2022 in the Yankee system, so that means all in the world. That's a big deal to be a number 1 prospect anywhere. Basically, in terms of the scouting report for Volpe, simple compact swing and above average bat speed, which we saw that in spring training. Control the zone, saw that in spring training. Gap to gap approach at the plate, but can turn on fastballs over the plate, which is good because you need to hit fastballs to be anywhere close to sniffing the major leagues. You just have to hit fastballs or you're not going to make it. Drives mistakes out to the pull side. Saw that in spring training too. Consistent contact quality. Obviously mentioned the high average, and will lead to many extra base hits because he also has the power in his bat, so he can get those doubles, and I think he has the speed to leg out quite a bit of triples too, given the opportunity. No, it's a little difficult to get some triples in Yankee Stadium, but I think especially on the road, especially if you go to like Kansas City or, with the schedule changing and everyone's going to play each other, I could definitely see triples at like, I can't remember the stadium. I think is it Chase? It's Chase Field, right? The Diamondback Stadium.
Field in Arizona, yeah.
Yeah, so like stadiums like that, Colorado and stuff, I could definitely see Volpe getting triples in those series for sure. Some of the other scouting report grades that I saw outside of obviously the consistent hitting, the power bat, obviously he's got great instincts and can run the base as well. I think he can steal quite a few bases, and he's got the speed to do it, obviously. The other thing I wanted to mention was the solid average raw strength. He's got good raw strength, plays well due to the quickness of his release and the consistency of his mechanics, which is basically talking about his defensive abilities, because I think that's also important. And we'll get to IKF in just a second to kind of wrap it up a little bit. Subsequent accuracy, so he can make those routine throws required to play shortstop, which the reason I mentioned IKF is he had a lot of trouble making those routine plays. Those routine plays can be the difference between winning a game and losing a game, winning a World Series and losing a World Series. So you have to make those routine plays. And obviously, I don't know if you watched the spring training game today, or once this podcast or this video comes out yesterday, Volpe made some really, really, really good plays. He made 2 plays in particularly, and one had a ridiculous amount of range to the left side of the field, and then the one to the basically center of the diamond near second base. That play also had quite a bit of range as well. So obviously he's got the range to do it. He can make the routine plays, and on top of already what I said, the bat speed is there, the contact is there, the power is there, the speed on the base paths is there, the stealing of bases, those instinct factors are also there. He is just a guy that I expect really good things from him. But the last thing I do want to mention from my side is that I don't want people to think that he's going to be like the next Aaron Judge or Stanton or something right out of the gate, because that's not what his projections are. His projections are more of like a 108, 110 WRC plus, maybe 115, which would be, for those who don't know the stat, about 8 to 15% above league average, which as a rookie, I'm more than fine with that, because he's also going to increase his trade value, not going to be traded. But what I'm kidding here is he's going to increase his value just off the basis of his defense alone. Like, I'm not worried about his defense at all. I'm more concerned about what he's going to be able to provide with the bat. But I think his ceiling is about 8 to 15% above league average. And that's perfect for me as a rookie, because he's only going to get better. His ceiling's going to raise every year in the league. Who knows? He might have a breakout year and go well beyond that ceiling that I have projected that he will have, mostly because that's his projected numbers per Zips on Fangraphs. And you can take a grain of salt with those kind of projections, but I think in this case, that range that I said is a good range just to be on the safe side, and then from there he'll get better over time.
You mentioned his plate discipline. I don't know where the stat came from. I heard it. He had like a 14.2% chase rate in spring training this year, which is tremendous. Very disciplined at the plate. I loved the at-bat when he played against the Marlins. He was pitching against Pablo Lopez, who's the pitcher the Twins got from trading away their batting champion. And Pablo Lopez struck him out in the first at-bat. He kind of had a good timing on a swing, but he just missed. That happens. You time it up pretty well. Very next time he comes up the plate, he sees breaking ball and just goes, I got this, and then just hits it a mile. And I'm just like, that's what you love to see. Like, that's kind of what I saw when like Gary came up to play at the beginning of his career, like when he was like pitch recognition and actually adjusting instead of just trying to hit everything 7 gazillion feet. But that's kind of what I saw out of that. I pulled up real quickly AL 2023 Rookie of the Year, AL Rookie of the Year odds right now, because I wanted to see what the line was. He's got some competition. So my theory was the fact that there was 2 specific reasons why the Yankees wanted to bring him up this year. And number 1 is because they had increased the size of the bases this year, so they wanted to get someone that was actually going to be able to steal bases in the lineup. Because we did lose our favorite speed demon, whose name I can't remember, plays for the Mets now.
Tim LaCastro?
LaCastro. We do love, like last year in specific, we went absolutely crazy with the running game. Like, we loved doing it. Like, Rizzo loved doing it. That was like something that came out of nowhere, and I think that he's going to fit into that, and he's going to be a tremendous threat on the bases. I mean, this is the guy that stole 50 bases last year in the minors, which, yeah, I know it's the minors, but, you know, everyone steals bases in the minors. I think, like, the guy from the Baltimore Orioles, the shortstop, like, he stole, like, 70 one year. So, but I mean, like, that's still tremendous. Like, that I'm excited to see what he can do and the chaos he can bring on the bases. I think he stole 5 bases in spring this season, I want to say, in like his limited at bats. I think he had like a 1028 OPS. So even if he didn't always hit home runs, he hit for good power, like doubles down the line. You take that kind of stuff. Like, you know, everyone is always screaming about that guy that's like, oh, you know, he just hits home runs and he strikes out. Like, you know, this is like the kind of guy that's like right in the middle of it. He can hit home runs on mistakes. He'll hit doubles down the lines, and he'll leg out ground balls. And you know that, you know, when he puts the bat on the ball, which he'll do very often, you know that there's going to be something interesting happening. And I think that's what I'm really excited to see, especially from, you know, the bottom of the lineup. You get on base on the 9th spot. You know, then you've got LeMahieu and Judge coming up. Like, you know, that's going to be fun because, you know, they're going to get some pitches to hit. Like, they don't want to pitch around that with people on base. So to give you the odds, I think he's like 3rd right now. He's like on a lot of these. Caesars has him like number 2. That's weird. But like Gunnar Henderson and Yoshida are like above him, obviously. But it's gonna be fun this year, and that's like that leads into my second point of why I think they brought him up this year is because right now there is the carrot that's been dangled by MLB, which is that if your player, I think it's if they win Rookie of the Year, you get a supplemental draft pick at the bottom of the 1st round, which that's like tremendous. Like that's basically how we got Volpe in the first place. Was a 2019, I think it was pick 30 of 2019. So that's basically how we got Volpe, and I think that allure of that pick kind of forced their hand. And I'm just also thinking right now the fact that we drafted Volpe in 2019. He played in the rookies and rookie ball in 2019, and then there was the pandemic year, which there was no minors in 2020. I just think that he's this good now. Can you imagine how good he would be with an extra year of minors under his belt? I think it'd be even better. But, you know, he's here now, so I'm excited to see what he does in a couple days now. It's now, Wednesday? So we have, 36 hours to wait until we can see his Yankee debut.
Really, the only thing that I have left to say is if you don't believe in Anthony Volpe, I'm going to put this tweet at the end of this video, and it's literally Aaron Nola giving him credit.
Yeah,
and Aaron Nola is a high-stouted pitcher for the Phillies, and he's been, I think, one of the most underrated pitchers for a while. So if that's not a ton of credit, a ton of praise, then I don't know what is. So
yeah. I mean, that is a top-tier pitcher right there. He pitched in the World Series last year. He's got to know something, right? That's the I think he's the second pitcher on that. You'd call Wheeler their ace?
Yeah, Wheeler's ace. Yeah,
pretty good. He's still pretty good.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching the video. Definitely support us. Subscribe to the channel. Comment down below, like if you haven't already. Click the bell notification so you don't miss the video. Any future video that I post, that is. And let's just hope to God Anthony Volpe pans out the way that we hope that he will. And he continues proving himself worthy every single year to this club. But we'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.